Well, welcome to another episode here of Sidelines for the Pluck Talk Sports family. I'm your host, Brandon Hernandez, and to talk about things, obviously, trade deadline just finished up earlier today. A lot of things shaking up right now in the AFC East. What exactly is going on with the Jets? Is it a rebuild within a rebuilding team's rebuild? Is Justin Fields even safe? Who's safe in New York? We're going to talk about that. Talk about everything around the NFL as well. Miami Dolphins on top of the AFC East shakeups. The front office GM, Chris Greer. We talked about this yesterday in our main podcast platform, but Chris Greer gone. We're going to dig a little bit deep in that. We might even have a special guest, Blake the intern, popping in as well. But that and more. And Tom Brady playing God. And I'm not talking about the Las Vegas Raiders, even though, someone's going to help out with Geno Smith. That and more coming up on this episode of Sidelines. And welcome in, everybody. Again, as promised, Blake with us here right on time, on the nick of time. I did send the invite a little bit late, though. I'm not going to lie to you, Blake. But welcome onto the show again.
Happy to be here. Love talking football, especially on really the greatest day of the year in NFL, especially when you're not a fan of a bad team like I am, and you are.
Unfortunately, yeah. But let's just jump right into the news, though. Obviously, when you talk about the trade deadline, we look at a lot of teams that are looking to rebuild. Some teams are looking to add on to that fuel for the season. Again, I'm going to talk right through it. These are the base of the moves throughout the NFL trade deadline. And actually, there was 6 moves throughout today, the second most moves in NFL history on trade deadline itself. But we talk about for the Philadelphia Eagles, though, cornerback Jared Alexander going over to Philadelphia from Baltimore, including as well for Philadelphia, Jalen Phillips, outside linebacker for the Miami Dolphins. He was basically getting a lot of money out of this offseason if the Dolphins were to stick with him. That's an expiring contract. I honestly thought that was really good. He gets traded away for a third rounder, which a lot of people, Blake even talked about it specifically, that would be like best case scenario for Jalen Phillips.
Yeah.
But then also Philadelphia, they're adding onto the fire here as well with Michael Carter, the second other cornerback coming from New York. The Jets themselves, when we're talking about New York, we talk about first round top 10 talent gone for potential first round top 10 talent. Sauce Gardner going to the Colts, which obviously we know Indianapolis is a team to beat right now in the AFC. And my apology, I got to double check the guy's name going to Dallas.
That's so weird to say, right? The Colts are the team to beat in the AFC.
Weird. It's like it's 2010, 2014, but also on top of that, Quinnen Williams going to Dallas. And there were some pieces that I did like going to the Jets as well. Obviously, tons of first round and second round draft choices going to their future. Defensive tackle Mozzie Smith from the Cowboys going to New York. I like that one, a little bit underrated. The one thing I thought was kind of hilarious, though, because we saw Sauce Gardner getting cooked on a route by A.D. Mitchell earlier this year, former Colt receiver that part of that trade. That's the same guy. I don't know if you saw in the clip. It's probably the most known clip for him this year. The guy that was right there at the end zone and fumbles the ball in the end zone for a touchdown.
Was that Adonai Mitchell?
That was Mitchell. Which I believe was against the Chargers. Rolled it away. It was probably one of the most funniest things I could probably think of, and definitely something that fits in Jets culture. So I think it'll fit right in the locker room.
Fits in New York culture, it feels like.
It's definitely a New York culture, which, again, no shame to the Giants fans out there dealing with their own injuries. Speaking of which, we will do a little part about the injuries as well. But, again, just sticking to this deadline, though, Blake, I want your thoughts on this because I know I haven't gone through every single team, every single, specific. What's an eye-opener from this trade deadline?
Let's be real. We're just going to talk about the big ones because that's the only ones that you really care about outside of your own team. I'll be honest. I think the Jets did amazing.
Okay.
They did. Because here's the thing is they knew they were going to be terrible, and then everyone knew the moment they started making phone calls that we were going to sell, people were going to lowball, and you leave with a first-round pick this year, 2 first-round picks for next year, a second-round pick for this year. Smith, I wouldn't call him a long-term starter. He's a good filler at that D tackle position. That's always a nice position to have filler players at. And the Adonai Mitchell, he's an okay receiver. You take him on your team, you never complain about him. But here's you're paying these two guys so much money. You get off the huge money, and you get basic. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think the Colts are going to be good next year. I don't know what we're seeing right now is such an anomaly with them.
Yeah,
because it's almost like CJ Stroud's rookie year with the Texans, right? Like you look like, oh, CJ Stroud's playing really good, yeah, but like this roster isn't that good. They just have a lot of veterans on it. Like it's kind of an outlier. I think that's what this is. I think the Dolphins getting a 3rd round pick for Jalen Phillips is best case scenario. In the piece I wrote after the Dolphins loss 2 weeks ago, I said if you can get a 3rd round pick for Jalen Phillips, you can replace him because he's not a 1st round pick. That was another move. Why I'm happy Chris Greer is gone. Why you drafted him. Jacoby Myers goes for a 4th and a 6th to Jacksonville.
Yeah,
that's a good pickup for Jacksonville. You don't trust Brian Thomas. Jacoby Myers actually shown that you can give him targets and he has to be a productive receiver, which is really
and cool. Myers like finally out of the prison cell that is Geno Smith, which I thought was huge.
Yeah, I think it was definitely a fun phone call to get from my friend because I didn't have like Twitter, Instagram up, and he goes, "Oh my God." I was like, "What?" I'm like, "Someone died?" And he's like, "No, Sauce Gardner just went for 2 firsts at Indianapolis." I was like, dang, it feels like OBJ. OBJ went from New York to Cleveland. He's just going to Indianapolis. He's just going a little farther west, no? I was like, that's awful for him. But no, I think it's a big win though for the Jets because here's the thing is you did your rebuild. You brought in all the players you wanted, then Rodgers came in, and that wasn't the answer. You didn't get it right. Just restart. I hate when teams do this thing, especially in basketball. I hate it. And we can talk about basketball another day because I can go on about it forever how to rebuild a basketball team. It's if you put the effort in and you just need the quarterback a lot of times. The issue the Jets did was they actually got the quarterback. I think we're seeing Rodgers probably wasn't the problem in New York. They just didn't build an O-line, and that really screwed them over. So guess what? Everyone wanted out. You guys sucked. No one wanted to sign. You just got to restart from scratch again. They're doing that. So I think that's a big win for them just to be able. I know it sucks for Jets fans having to watch the restart again. Really, because they haven't had a team that could contend since Mark Sanchez was their quarterback, and he's in prison right now. I'm pretty sure. I think he might have paid bail, but
yeah. See, I actually saw a clip of him like doing social media work for like CBS and Fox and all that, and I'm just thinking to myself like, who paid that? Who paid that bail? I thought like guys get buried on their jobs for that.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, they said you're what's it called? What's the saying in sports? They'll pay you until you're not worth your trouble or something like that. Like it's something similar to that. Maybe CBS thinks he's the biggest guy around. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, we never know with that one. But again, also just staying in the AFC though, especially the AFC East, because you talk about with the Colts trying to like push themselves. I feel like when you look at Pittsburgh, they're also in that same scenario where it's like this could be a one and done year to get into a playoffs position. But in this AFC East division, a lot of moves from the Patriots, obviously previously before this trade deadline. Jets and Dolphins now looking towards a real rebuilding, not a retooling, but rebuilding moment. I think for the Dolphins themselves, obviously we talk about the Jalen Phillips move. Great choice. More than less shocked that Bradley Chubb and Jalen Waddle were not huge pieces for the Dolphins moving forward. Only one move, trade deadline, and that was Jalen Phillips. A lot of reports saying that the Dolphins held on. The Denver Broncos were very, very high in the Jalen Waddle talks. It came really late to the basically last few hours, but the asking price was way too high for the Denver Broncos that the Miami Dolphins were asking for a good reason, obviously.
Yeah.
And we even talked about this in the last podcast yesterday. I'm curious because we talked even about the O-line and what the Dolphins' future would look like. With the trade deadline now passed, and now we have to look basically to this offseason, if not draft capital. Do you see the Dolphins' future just a little bit better? We're like, okay, it looks like we're going to keep Waddle. We might just pay Chubb. What do you think of just the moves in general towards the future of that trade deadline?
Yeah, I want to hear your thoughts on it first, Brandon.
Well,
Brandon, this is
personally, I
your
love
show.
it.
I want to
I
hear
love
your
it.
thoughts.
I love it. I love Waddle like my like
He's so good.
yeah, so good. Like a son I didn't even think about. Love Waddle. Insane
Do you have a
talent.
son that you do think about? I don't know of, or
Uh
not one you know of at least.
sticking on football. I am paying child support. But I'm telling you, for Jalen Waddle, though, it's one of those players I would have to say if you're a Dolphin fan, you want to keep forever on the team. But also, if you're the Dolphins franchise or just an NFL franchise in general, that's a guy that you should be willing to spend for. I mean, look at the Cincinnati Bengals. They're willing to spend boats load for Chase, for Higgins. You know, Diggs being for the Patriots, that's the guy they want to keep, at least in this division for New England. That's the guy in Waddle I want to keep on this team.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill, we can move on from Tyreek Hill, if anything. You know,
Yeah.
he's already won his rings. He's more bound to retirement than he is closer to winning another playoff game in this current situation.
Yeah.
Waddle long term makes sense. So I love the idea of not even trading for Waddle. Now, what the asking price was with Denver, maybe that's a few first rounders.
It might have been 2 firsts and a couple seconds. Because I mean, let's be honest. Like, I love Jalen Waddle. He's so good at football. He's been criminally underrated just because his running mate's been Tyreek. But then again, 2 firsts, let's say probably 2 seconds, future considerations, and probably like a third string receiver from the Broncos is what the Dolphins probably asked for.
Yeah,
like that would be an absurd ask for almost any receiver in the NFL. Yeah. So, yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, Jalen Waddle's a bona fide wide receiver 1, so you keep him. You keep that, especially when he's in his prime. You keep that because you know what you're going to ask for. You won't get it. I saw the reports. If you got rid of Bradley Chubb this offseason, you save $28 million. Well, if you get rid of him midway through next year, you still save $28 million either way. So it doesn't make sense to me why you trade him now, because guess what? We haven't getting any pass rush. The stock isn't as high as it's going to be next year. Because if he's healthy all year this year and he starts good for 3 weeks next year, you can trade him. His stock's going to be high. And Quentin Mitchell going for a replacement D tackle, a first and a second, leads me to believe, for how I hear about Bradley Chubb get talked about by execs, he's worth 1 first-round pick probably.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at with Bradley Chubb, and I like the 27 draft class better than the 26 draft class. From what I've been seeing and reading, the 26 draft class doesn't fix a ton of issues, just because I don't think we'd be getting a top 15 pick for Chubb, and the really good O linemen are in the top 15. I don't really want to shoot for one of these guys going late in the first round. There's that Alabama guard that I love that I hope that we can get in the second round. No, but the one thing that shocked me that I heard that I was seeing on Twitter was like 2 hours before the trade deadline, apparently the Dolphins started listening to Micah Fitzpatrick deals.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. I don't know. You would be in financial hell if you listen to that, because you would get a penalty for trading for a guy and within 8 months trading him away.
Yeah, I mean, let alone, the safety rooms throughout the entire NFL, there's not a big market for safeties right now, Yeah. So, funny enough, because Daniel Torres was talking about this before this podcast with me, that he was talking about, the Cowboys, I think they're saying that the Cowboys got someone from the AFC East, which ended up becoming, Williams from the Jets. He really was like, I think we got Fitzpatrick. I don't know how many teams right now in the NFL, which again, Fitzpatrick is a hell of a ball hawk.
He's
hell of a
awesome.
guy. Awesome.
He's been the only shining part of that defense.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to get rid of him. And again, we're talking about expiring contracts and whoever this future GM will be, because we're just on an interim GM status of it right now with Kelly. I think Fitzpatrick had to stay. Obviously you talk about the penalties and the financial piece about that as well. We're already in a deep enough hole as it is. And then the Chubb part, because I do want to revisit that though. And this might be a hot take. I think he's been the best pass rusher for the Dolphins this season alone. He was averaging a sack per game to open up the year. Basically, the guy is, bona fide when not hurt to be one of the better guys in the NFL off the edge. I like veteranship. Even again, when I talk about the O line, you got to have at least one veteran, if not like a few guys on the edge. I like veteranship in my pass rushing team. Chop Robinson and him, I think that's perfect. I think without Phillips, Chop can finally take that first string type of role, push the heavy on that. So I think this is big. I think it's big. I think it shows the Dolphins have a lot of stock in Bradley Chubb, that there's going to be a payday maybe. I don't know how much. But I like this going forward, though, because if we have him with Chop Robinson, and again, as I said before, with this current draft class coming up pretty soon, I think the defense can not revamp, but retool behind some veteran leadership.
Oh, and the Dallas also got Logan Wilson. That's not a bad pickup for just a
not a
seventh round
bad-
pick. I
not a bad
take
pickup.
that pickup all day.
Actually, you know what I was really kind of shocked, though, because again, totally talking about pass rushers still, Trey Hendrickson not really going anywhere from Cincinnati. I mean, asked for a trade earlier on this year, and Cincinnati's not looking like a playoff team at all. I thought they would look for something.
The only front office I think that could potentially be worse than Miami is in Cincinnati. I mean it. Like, when was the last time you heard something happening with the Bengals and you go like, "Yep, they made the right call right away on that one"? They made Joe Burrow wait to get paid. Trust me, I know Joe Burrow's been getting injured and everything, but he proved you got to pay him. Like, he's showing you that he can do it. You have to pay the guy, and they still held off as much as they could, and then. They franchise tag T. Higgins. Like, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. They finally came.
Yeah, and then they overpaid Chase. I mean, not saying that wide receivers don't belong, in a big pay grade.
No one deserves $30 million a year to play football, though.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I really can't say anything good about Cincinnati. And funny enough, the only real move that Cincinnati has done outside of the Logan Wilson stuff was the Joe Flacco trade. So that's probably been the most positive thing this entire season for them, Joe Flacco, which tells you what type of years they're having.
Shout out Sleepy Joe.
Shout out Sleepy Joe. Can't forget about the guy. But I'm also looking down at these trade deadlines.
I think the CFB rankings are coming out right now.
Actually just came out. And we could probably talk about that too as well after this segment here.
Yeah, that's why I'm sorry for jumping off. I had to take a look.
Because we probably will talk about. I just don't want to jump on one last thing about this trade deadline stuff that I think is like very much like settled in. I love the sneakiness coming out of Seattle, though. Rashid Shaheed, wide receiver help from New Orleans, going over there. Because one of the better NFC teams, we obviously saw what happened on Sunday Night Football against the Commanders. Electric. The offense was clicking. I don't think Sam Darnold had an incomplete pass till the third quarter in that game.
Started 16 for 16.
16 for 16.
16 for 16 for 282 and 3 touchdowns in the first half.
Yeah. I know Andy Dalton has that Red Rocket nickname. Is Sam Darnold – actually, hold on. I want your take on – is Sam Darnold ginger or no? I remember people were saying he was ginger for a minute.
Nah, I wouldn't call him ginger.
I wouldn't call him ginger. Okay, so the Red Rocket name cannot be moved just yet. But
not yet.
He does have a rocket of an arm. I love the receiving help added on to that offense. I think that's probably the most sneakiest move. But talking about sneaky, though, let's go into actually front of rare timing college football moment here. The CFP, the college football playoff indicators.
At number 9.
At number 9. Let's go through them, actually. Let me just bring them up here now. Because actually, I had a quick thing here about the playoff prediction of these new rankings.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah, go. Sorry, I can't. Some of these teams where they're at is crazy.
Yeah. So let me just double check here if I got everything. Make sure all the things are in order. Again, this is very much live. Committee choosing these just about what?
Last 20 minutes.
50 minutes ago. So going through these real fast here, I'm going from top to bottom. In other words, 25 down to 1. Tennessee at 25, 24 Pitt, Washington, and again, the Huskies, I feel, are very underrated at 23. Mizzou at 22, Michigan at 21, 20th is Iowa, 19 is Southern Cal Trojans, and the University of Miami at 18, similar to their AP poll ranking. Georgia Tech at 17, so that's a little bit new. Georgia Tech kind of closing in right there between the two of Miami and them. Vanderbilt at 16, the Cards, Louisville Cardinals, 15, Virginia 14, Utah 13, and this is again we talked about this yesterday. if the committee sees Texas on the door, they will make sure that Texas will
Everyone else has Texas at 13. They have them at 11.
At 11. And funny enough, ahead of Oklahoma by one spot. John Mateer and the Sooners at 12, Texas at 11, 10 Notre Dame for some reason.
Look at 9.
This is my biggest shock because I tweeted about
that's crazy.
The Oregon Ducks, who were originally 6 in the AP poll, number 9 in the college football committee's rankings. And ahead of them, you may ask, Texas Tech and BYU, the winners of the Holy War earlier this year. The BYU Cougars at 7, Ole Miss at 6, 5 Georgia, 4 Bama, 3 Texas A&M Aggies, which of course is a team to look after. Indiana at 2 and Ohio State at 1, which is the undisputed number 1, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Biggest takeaways, though, 3 SEC schools in the top 5. Obviously, the Oregon switch up, crazy.
That's
crazy. Again, the only loss to Indiana. Yeah, the only loss to Indiana by 10, and that was a home game for them in Othman Stadium. I just don't believe it. Nate Moore, a potential Heisman candidate quarterback, you only lost against a number 2 in the nation, which is your only conference loss in general. I get that BYU is basically undefeated at the moment. Texas Tech, I believe they had that one loss. But for the committee, and again, this is a committee that has said in the past they look for ranked matchups, wins and losses, and they look towards how good is the team towards the end of the year. They don't look for let's say the Hurricanes.
On earth is Notre Dame at 10 then?
I have no idea. No idea. Again, a win streak since going 0-2. No doubt about it. But again, none ranked teams, from my understanding. So Notre Dame ahead of Texas, ahead of the Sooners. And mind you, these are teams with much, much more harder schedules. And I'll even iterate because I know I went on the rant yesterday. But Notre Dame should not even be a top 15 school right now.
Correct.
Should not be a 2-loss Notre Dame. Has not even left the top 10, top 15 all year, I think. And the committee somehow favors them heavily. I get the close loss to Miami and a close loss to Texas A&M, which basically went down to one play. So I'm not going to hold them for that. But we've seen worse scenarios for teams that have lost within inches. And similar enough to the Hurricanes. Hurricanes losing to inches, really in overtime to SMU, and dropped way on back as if they're not better than Georgia Tech, as if they're not better than Virginia. Again, Virginia being probably the top ACC school right now in the conference, according to these college football playoff rankings by the committee. Blake, is it like, I'm not saying are we dumb for having like this false hope for Notre Dame?
I don't get it.
What are we missing here, man?
I don't really get it. Because I think back to a couple years ago, a few years ago now. Yeah. Remember when Texas A&M started out number 1 in the preseason, and then they lost their first 2 games, and one was pretty bad, but the other one was a fluke, and they got bounced out of the top 25 in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, there's no way other to explain it. I think you and me were kind of the same path, agreeing with this on yesterday. It has to be because they're not in the damn conference. They don't know how else to get Notre Dame in the playoffs.
No other idea. Unless Notre Dame, I would say one loss. Like if Notre Dame's another loss.
One's fine. But the issue, and I don't like it about college football, but here's it, because I don't always think wins, loss tell you who the best team is, but it's how they do it. Notre Dame has 2 losses. If they win out, Notre Dame wins out, in front of them, either Indiana's going to lose, A&M's going to lose, Bama's going to lose, Georgia's going to lose, Ole Miss is going to lose. One of those teams is going to lose at least one more game.
Yeah.
And there's a chance that Notre Dame get in front of them because they'll win out. Notre Dame could finish this as the 7th seed or a 6th seed.
Yeah, it's very disgusting thought. Very disgusting. And the worst part about it,
how is Oregon 9?
It's terrible.
I don't love Oregon, but
yeah, but here's the funniest thing. I think this is the funniest thing because I'm also looking at the team chance for the highest percentage to make the CFP, according to ESPN's playoff predictor.
Indiana, no?
Well, of course, Indiana, Ohio State at 99%. But the main focus, though, because Notre Dame, 24% chance to make the playoffs. And to give you an idea, that's a better percentage than Utah, Southern Cal, and the biggest eye-opener, the Miami Hurricanes, who have basically the same record and beat Notre Dame earlier in the year.
I'll say Miami has the best ranked win-loss in the country right now, no?
Yeah, best win-loss ratio, I would say. Again, Canes right now at a 14% chance to make the CFP. And also for those who are curious about the others around the helm, basically Bama, Texas A&M, and really the top four, over 90% chance to make it. Georgia at 86, Ole Miss at 78, 77 Oregon, BYU at 74, Texas at 54%. And for
That's
those who,
awful.
yeah, and for those college football sickos that look for the group of four, because again, one group of 4 team will make it. Right now, North Texas and JMU at a 28%, both of them together. And South Florida, the Bulls, 26%. Better chance than Louisville or Memphis. Honestly, I have South Florida as the team from the Power 4 to make it into the playoffs. Going to itch in there. A lot of work to be done for them, though. But besides that, I mean, the Canes aren't even the best team in the ACC. Virginia with a 29% chance. Not a lot of ACC pride right now from ESPN and the college football community.
Brandon, give me 1 second here. So I want you to know, what chance did they give Texas in making the college football playoff?
Texas at 54.
Okay, 54. Do you want to hear their 3 games to end the year?
Tell me.
At Georgia, at home against Arkansas, at home against number 3 A&M. If they lose one of them, they have to be out of the playoff. That's 3 losses.
Well, okay. Let's think about hypothetical here.
They're a 10.
You win out till Texas A&M.
If you win out, you're number 4 in the country because you're beating 5 and 3.
Absolutely, because I think the Aggies are the best team in the SEC. I don't think Texas is going to go to the SEC championship game. But I say if you beat out Georgia, and again, Arkansas, that should be a roll through. Again, we never know because Texas lost to Florida earlier this year.
Yeah.
But Arkansas game, that should be a roll through for them. The Aggies game might be the hardest thing. If Georgia was to see the thing that gets me 86% for the Bulldogs, that's scary. Because Kirby Smart, it's still a good Georgia team, obviously. Stockton, I know a lot of people compare Stockton and Beck. I like Stockton over Beck, in my honest opinion. But, man, that's crazy. 86% for the Bulldogs.
Brandon, I just don't get this looking at Texas. I don't get it. You win against Oklahoma, right? It's Red River. You've heard me say it 1,000 times with football. If it's a rivalry game, anything can happen. It doesn't matter if you're ranked number 1 and if you're not ranked. Like, anything could happen, really. You win by 3 against Kentucky, and you have in overtime, and you have to beat Mississippi State in overtime, and then you win by 3 against Vanderbilt at home.
Yeah,
and I don't get it.
I'm telling you, it's just the committee, man. When they're at the door, Texas will knock, and the committee will let them in.
What you're seeing, for anyone watching this right now, what you're seeing is the disgusting nature of money making in sports, because there is no rational person that could go and speak to me and go, oh no, I've definitely watched Texas this year and can tell you that there's only 8 teams better than them in the country. No, you're out of your mind. That's not. It's just it's awful.
It is. It's sickening.
Like the fact Virginia is losing out to Texas right now is disgusting to me. I don't care. It's disgusting. I hate Virginia. I'm a UM fan. I hate Virginia. Like,
but that's just the ACC bias, though. No one likes the ACC. They're all biased of like, no way that they even get close to an SEC or Big Ten, or no way that, I actually was thinking about this thought, kind of a crazy thought. I don't think if you're like a Big Ten school, I don't think you want to face Virginia in November.
Oh, no, I wouldn't.
Like, I'd rather. No,
you might.
I'd rather go against Purdue. If I'm Indiana, I'd rather go against Purdue than face against a Virginia.
I think Ohio State's playing Purdue this week.
Again, and Purdue will be mollywopped. But, I mean, Blake, my apology for interrupting you, but I had to put that take out there. If the ACC teams were shipped around, it'd be absolute chaos.
I'm also a big fan of just blowing up the ACC. I think the way they run the conference is kind of a joke. Yeah. How it's one conference but 2 divisions, I think is weird. No, just make it one big conference because then you get the games people actually want. But sorry, that's my text notification. I just don't understand or like Oregon at 9 is my biggest one. Even how what I have at the Texas and the Notre Dame. What has BYU or Texas Tech done to go, yep, they're definitely better than Oregon? Because we know Oregon's a great program. We know they recruit very well. We know they're well coached. They lost one game to the number 2 team in the nation who's undefeated.
Yeah. You know, I would push the envelope for the BYU vote. I love BYU this year. Again, undefeated. Totally makes sense.
People told me BYU's awesome this year. And I don't get to watch them, but like, it's hard for me to put my head around it. That could just be big school mentality from me right now. But
and again, for good reason, because Oregon was a top 5 school, basically open up the year. So, and also I'm looking down the line, the last few games, 2 touchdown victory over Wisconsin at home. Rutgers, they blew out of the water after losing against Indiana. The Penn State game, obviously we knew what happened with Penn State. There's only been, besides the loss, obviously, to Indiana, there's only been 1 game, if not 2, that Oregon's even been close with their competition. So, I mean, that's got to count for something. That's got to count for something. Yeah. Maybe the committee saw them, and the close matchups have been their last 4 or 5 games or so. Maybe the committee is saying that, well, they're not, again, winning games, but they're not beating teams with a pulp like they used to. They're just sliding through. Like how we talk about Texas, just sliding through overtime wins against Kentucky, against, a team like Mississippi State, which is obviously for the Bulldogs themselves. I feel bad because they haven't even won an SEC game since last week against Arkansas, I believe. But, I mean, I see the BYU, the Texas Tech stuff. I don't know why everyone's so high on these Red Raiders. No idea why.
I don't really get. I can 100% say I haven't been able to watch it too much. Like we're in South Florida. I don't have ESPN Plus. It's hard for me to watch every college game. I can just go off what I can read. But I mean, I've heard good things about them. I've heard it's a fun team, but fun teams don't really do that much for you at the end of the day. You need to be a solid team.
Yep.
Can I throw one team at you real quick? Because I'm just looking at them.
Absolutely.
And this is interesting to me. The Michigan Wolverines could go into that last game of the season against Ohio State, and they're hosting Ohio State. They could be 9-2 hosting number 1 Ohio State at home. What happens if Michigan goes 9-2, hosts Ohio State, and they do it again and they upset Ohio State?
For a 5th straight year?
For a 5th straight year. They go on runs. Ohio State did it for a while, and Michigan does it for a while. They never change. So,
but basically,
let's say they do it.
Disappointing basically an entire college experience for another generation of Ohio State. Right. If that was to happen, again, I would assume that the committee would find Michigan at 21 and with the remaining weeks undefeated, they might just be a top 15 team if that was the case. And then Ohio State, let's say they do beat Ohio State, you might just push them top 10 just because of that.
If you beat Ohio State and you're 21, you have to go top 10. I think that's perfectly fair.
Well, if you're right now 21 and you beat a number 1 school, I don't think you should be passing by the 12 mark. But if Michigan was to win all these games and get to within 15, they'll be a top 10, top 5, guarantee. Because we talked about, I think the SEC will eat itself up like we see in the end of the years.
Yeah, it happens all the time. They kill themselves.
Georgia might lose one more game. Ole Miss should lose one more game if history is right. Texas A&M, really the Texas Aggies game, it's going to be such an eye-opener, such as like last year where like that game was what pushed Texas in the SEC championship and the Aggies out of it. This will probably be the same scenario. And I still like Texas A&M still to win the SEC. I don't care what anybody says. This is the team to beat in the Southeastern Conference.
I don't know. I love Bama this year still. Their O-line, it feels like a Saban O-line.
Yeah. I mean, again,
I can understand taking the Aggies over Bama. I will say when the odds come out.
And the pass rush for the Aggies is ridiculous. See, that would be a great matchup too. The defensive tackles going against that O-line in Bama. Yeah. But, I mean, so sticking with Michigan, though, it's possible. It's really possible because we've seen teams within 2 weeks be in the top 10 and bounce out. And then vice versa, top 20 teams go right into top 10, top 15. Look at Texas. Texas was at, 22, 25th after losing 2 straight. Now they're at 11, sitting with the committee as of November 4th.
And here's the thing is, the AP doesn't matter anymore. The only one that matters is the CFB bracket. It's the only thing that matters now. And, I mean, my thing is, if Michigan goes into that last game of the season, they're 9-2, so they win their next 2 games. Let's say they win it fairly convincingly. I think it's fair to say they probably get to 17 or 16, right? 4 or 5 spots. I don't think that's a crazy thing to say.
Right.
And then you go and you beat Ohio State, who I'm going to assume will probably be number 1 in the country at that time. You're going to go from 17 to, I mean, where can you not put them? Like
exactly. And I think about Ohio State because literally this happened basically last year. Ohio State dropped out of basically a top 2, top 1 spot to a number 8 seed, and that put everything on its head. They start off at home. So who knows? That could be like a big advantage boost for them starting off the season in the postseason in the horseshoe. Still, I would even say even with the loss, it'd be crazy to see them not be a top 4 team even with 1 loss.
I think I'm going to be honest. Even if they lost to Michigan, I'd still keep them at 1. I still think they're better than Indiana personally, but
yeah. Well, again, because this will be that game followed by the Big Ten championship, which most likely will be Indiana. So that would be a crazy piece where, let's say, Ohio State wins out, loses that 1 Michigan game, and then follows that with a loss against Indiana.
You know what's crazy? If Indiana wins out and Michigan beats Ohio State, the Big Ten championship would be Michigan-Indiana.
Yeah, even disgusting.
Because Michigan would have the tiebreaker over Ohio State.
Yeah, and even worse, like real sickos talking right now. Michigan beats Indiana. You gotta keep Indiana in it.
You have to.
Where do you put? Yeah, yes, you have to.
I'm gonna be honest. Your 1, 2, 3 all might be Big Ten teams, and that'd be the worst case scenario for college football.
Worst case scenario. But I would also even argue, like, let's say Ohio State's barely even in the committee's top 16. Again, that'll probably never happen because again, we're talking about the committee.
Yeah, but the bias is ridiculous.
Insane bias.
But they know where the money is. They get paid based on how much they can pull in as a college football committee. So
they do. But again, just to illustrate that again, college football committee top 25 for the CFP official. They're putting down the Canes at 18, and a lot of switch ups. Oregon being one that we talked about previously. Top 5 is Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, Bama, and University of Georgia. So that's our college football take on things. But let's go back home here in Miami, though, because we talked a little about the Chris Grier effect. Obviously, Chris Grier, after that abysmal loss to the Baltimore
Ravens. I wish I had confetti so I can shoot it off for you right now.
If you got confetti, go crazy with it. I'm pretty sure everyone was doing that Friday morning when he got fired, basically the day after.
Okay, Brandon, I got you.
Perfect.
There you go.
3 shards of paper. That's as much as Chris Greer's going to get probably for this last 9 years.
Christ, I despise that man. I wish him no harm, but I don't wish him joy.
Yeah, there we go. He hasn't given the Dolphins joy. No playoff wins throughout his tenure. At the time, the longest active tenure without a playoff victory. The touchdown was actually, my apologies, not even a single touchdown in Thursday game against Baltimore. But I love the fact that it took a Broward County native to really get Chris Grier out the door, right? Lamar Jackson, 4 touchdowns in that game. What was it, 28-6, the final?
Thank
Dolphins,
God.
fumble after fumble, injury after injury we've seen throughout this year. Chris Grier, and I talk about the rant. I'll probably go straight back into it like I did yesterday. When you have a roster that you know you need to keep, and you're not going to be able to pay all of them, but you got to pay the right ones. Raheem Mostert, I understand paying him coming off a historic franchise season record type of year. Tua, I could see it. NFL passing yards leading it that 1 year in 2023, whatever. The most successful year I would say in the Chris Grier era.
As a fan, these are hard deals to say. I don't say you can't give them, but at the same time, as a general manager, you don't pay someone for what they've done. That's not what you do. You don't pay someone because, like, Joe Burrow took the Bengals Super Bowl. You're not paying him because he did that for you. Not for you. Sorry. Whoa, that was really southern. You don't pay him because he did that for you. You're paying him because he's going to do it again.
Exactly.
So that's the tough job that Chris Grier had to pick. Was he has to sign guys that he thinks are going to do it again or do it even better, and he failed every single stop.
That's why I didn't understand it though with the Mostert stuff. You paid Mostert, which makes sense after the year, but you don't bring back Van Ginkel. You don't bring back half of the O-line that protected your quarterback, who, mind you, a concussion for him, it's like a whole lifetime for the team. Yeah. Missing a whole season.
You lost 2 years because of it.
2 years. You don't even pay Xavier Howard. You let Xavier Howard walk away and then beat you week 1 this year and retire right after.
Yeah, he retired. I'll be honest, Xavier Howard, when I was happy, because I'll be honest, I live by cornerbacks at 5 years. Jalen Ramsey was a bit of an outlier. He did it for like 7. But corners, you really only have 4 or 5 years. And I'll be honest, Xavier Howard got screwed over. He screwed himself over some of it because he had the great year. He had 10 picks. Then he got into some police issues. We won't get into that. Then he gets another year with 10 picks. Then he gets injured, and then we saw the fall off. So I cut you off there. That was bad. My fault.
No, you're good, man. Again, we like these takes though because I'll also be on the other side. Love Xavier.
Love him to death because of how great he was.
Yeah.
But Brandon, I want you to think of this. I was 13 when I'm 22 now. I was 13 when Chris Greer took the helm. So that means through my entire teenage years, the best team I saw go to the playoffs was the J.E. Dolphins.
You know what's crazy? Because I'm 24 right now, and I can tell you the best team to go to the playoffs was led by Matt Moore in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. That's what Matt Moore.
Yep.
That was that Chris Greer? That was before Chris Greer.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy? Even a more sicko moment.
That was the year Chad Pennington broke his elbow.
First album. But also the Skylar Thompson playoff game, the wild card that went close to the Bills. That might have been the closest the Dolphins have gotten to a playoff win this decade.
That's awful. That's terrible.
Horrible.
And here's the other thing is, and it comes down to the GM and it comes down to coaching. This Dolphins organization for the last 9 years has gone into week 17 and now week 18 4 different times to go to the playoffs. They went 0-4. They went into it once with a chance to win the division. They failed. So 5 times you go to the last week of the season, and that's on coach, on the GM, and on the players. 5 times you went into a must-win game, basically already a playoff game, and you lose.
Yeah.
Like that's an issue. That's a failure. Like imagine like everyone, we all make fun of, especially as Dolphins, we make fun of the Bills because of Jim Kelly. We went 0-4 in Super Bowls, right? And he did it in like 4 years, whatever.
Yep.
That's what we've done for the last 9 years. We're there, you have a chance, and then it's gone because you throw it away. Even that year with Jay Ajayi, when he went stupid, had 2 200-yard games in 4 weeks, and the O-line actually could block a power, which was crazy. The Pats went 11-5. All the Dolphins had to do was win their last game against Buffalo, and you had a first, and you won the division. But no, you lose against Buffalo, and now you lose in the first round because you have no Ryan Tannehill to Pittsburgh. And look, the guy's going to get a boatload of money for getting fired, and you never wish people to lose their jobs. But God, I wished him to be better at his job. Holy crap. Brandon, I might put my name into Stephen Ross. I might go for an interview. I got Brandon, I'll send you the photos. I was over here coaching the beer league hockey the other night in a suit and tie. I'll pull up.
Suit and tie.
Oh, Brandon, I'll send you the picture after this. You'll love it. It was
you gotta send it over.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not a big obviously I'm fit but not hockey fit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But hey, if
Brandon, you want to go for a tandem interview with Stephen Ross? You want to go for a tandem interview?
I'll be ready to be the OC now. I'll be ready to be the OC. Frank Smith just there on the sideline.
Guys, I'm gonna be honest. Me and Brandon might get into fist fights if that ever happened. Oh my god.
This Dolphins team would take the worst of us.
Oh
and
god.
Just put it out there. I mean, as if not is already done on Sundays, but
the amount of derogatory things we call each other because we think the other's wrong would be awful.
Dude, we'll be like, if anything, it'll be like a Nick Saban, Bill Belichick, Cleveland Browns experiment. That's basically what
God.
Like 90s Cleveland Browns.
Except we'll win because we're fans and we know better.
Yeah, because we know what an O-line is. Unlike Chris Greer, again, as I quote, worried about the more of the O-line than we are.
When that quote came out, I almost started crying laughing.
disbelief. Then again, that explains the Liam Eichenberg stuff. That explains him putting him everywhere. It's not replacing him. So that explains a lot. No shame to Liam Eichenberg. No shame.
No, I throw shade. I'm throwing shade at Liam Eichenberg. He's god awful. He's terrible. He's almost as bad as Jesse Davis. He's almost as bad.
Well, he is as bad as Jesse Davis, but like I'm not gonna bat him down.
No,
because of the position. Like, let alone like I think Patrick Paul even had to like take up different positions. Chris Greer, you got to put guys in specific places, and you go through an entire offseason talking about we like the guys in our secondary. Jason Marshall Jr. starting nickel, never played nickel a day in his life.
Never played a day in his life.
A day in his life, and you put him out there, and he was already hurt. So
you have Cam Smith. You have Cam Smith. Cam Smith's only thing he can do is cover because he sucks at tackling.
Yeah,
but he can cover. And you cut him when you have no coverage guys, and you cut him.
Yeah, but
I know he can't tackle, but at least he can cover. Like,
yeah, but he was barely on the field
because they were like, oh, he can't tackle. We don't want him out there. But I'm like, no, you go. Hey, he's a second-round pick. We're down. What were we down at like week 3? We were down 4 cornerbacks from when we started preseason. Go. Hey, we have this guy we drafted 2 years ago, Cam Smith. Yeah, he played for the University of Georgia, and he was a lockdown corner in the national championship game. Maybe let's give him a run for a game. Maybe something will happen. No, like I've already said who I want to be the Dolphins' next head coach. I don't think McDaniel's the biggest issue, but I personally know Matt LaFleur. He's the Green Bay head coach's younger brother. He coaches for. He's the OC over in L.A. Sean McVay praises him like you'll never believe. I want him in Miami. That's who I want here because he knows how to run a system. He's seen how Sean McVay runs an organization like that. Brandon, I can't wait for the reset. I've never been excited for a reset before because it's all I've known. Now I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I know we think different ties for the head coaching position specifically because I like McDaniels. I think McDaniels has again. I understand the seasons has been terrible this year, but
it's not the issue though.
He's not the issue. Mike McDaniels have 2 back-to-back winning seasons and was a loss basically in week 18 away from another winning season. This year has just been injuries and Chris Greer saying, here's the team. Go crazy.
That's now, the worst thing.
The worst thing. And Anthony Weaver, I don't care. I get he's a good locker room guy, but they got to find issues.
I tried defending him, but I'm just looking at this defense.
There's no way you can defend him. If you're giving up an average 28 plus per game, and it doesn't matter if it's to the Ravens or if it's to the Browns, no reason a team should be doing that, let alone
Brandon, 40 seconds. Games. We have 6 games. 5 games we've given up more than 30 points. Yes. We have 1 game giving up less than 27.
It's horrible.
Here's the thing: is we talk about how bad the Cowboys' defense is, the Bengals' defense. The Dolphins are that bad. Yeah. Like that's where the Dolphins are. I think they're ranked 30th. Like I don't like.
Wouldn't be surprised. But again, a team that was 40 seconds away from winning a game against the Chargers and gave up somehow, some way, 2 missed sacks and a missed tackle, which resulted in a 41-yard catch. It's
crazy to think this team could genuinely be over 500 right now if they just didn't make bonehead mistakes at times.
Or Jalen Phillips finished tackles.
God, thank God he's gone. I mean, Gregory Rousseau. Trust me, I wanted Jalen Phillips to work because he played for UM and he's a nice guy. I've met him, and he has a kid on the way. He's a great man, but
absolutely,
Gregory Rousseau was right there. He was the better player at UM. He fit the Dolphins system more, and he was sitting there. But you go, oh no, Jalen Phillips is an athletic freak, which he really isn't. But he's an athletic freak. He can bring down Josh Allen. I'm like, what about the 6'7", 270-pound edge? Can he bring down Josh Allen? Yeah, he can.
Yeah. Mind you, a guy that medically retired from college.
From UCLA.
From UCLA, yeah.
Oh, Brandon, it's stuff like this that make you lose your job. Like imagine if you produce, correct?
Yes.
I don't know exactly what entails into your produce. I've never really asked you. But like, do you do a lot of the camera work and make sure everything's okay there?
Making sure that cameras are right. What's going to be the banner? I mean, there's a whole lot of pieces.
Okay. Perfect. So you do banners and stuff like that. So let's say the topic is on Aaron Rodgers and he did another ayahuasca trip, right? And it goes, oh, Aaron Rodgers went to Colombia and did ayahuasca. Well, no, he didn't. He just lied. He went to Brazil. Like, It's that simple. And that these are the mistakes Chris Fear makes. It's yeah, you got some part of it right. You needed an edge. You got an edge, but you got the wrong edge. He's sitting right there. It wasn't Colombia. It was Brazil. It's not Jalen Phillips. It's Greg Rousseau. They're right there. They went to the same school. They played on your field. Like, I get so vocal about it because it's so boneheaded and pathetic that you get paid millions of dollars. But someone like me, someone like you, someone like Tom, your neighbor or something, can look at the TV and go, oh, yeah, that Tua guy's not that good when there's a pass rush. Maybe we should put O linemen around him. Because you want to know what concerned me, Brandon, about that Atlanta game? Was this man Tua had one eye and he didn't miss a beat.
Didn't miss a beat.
Because you know what that tells me? That tells me your quarterback isn't actually reading the field. He's just doing exactly what Mike McDaniel tells him. If Mike McDaniel says 3 steps and you put it to the hash, that's what he's doing. He's not actually getting up to the line, reading the field. Because that was one concern we talked about, you and I talked about exclusively after week 1 was Tua's going up to the line and he's not changing anything. He doesn't talk.
Yeah, no nothing.
But it's on purpose now, I know. Because there's no way a quarterback can play with one eye and read a field fast enough. You can't. Tom Brady couldn't do it. Rodgers couldn't do it. Manning couldn't do it. You can't do it. It's
frustrating. It's frustrating, you know.
Daniel, can I get a hug, please? I mean, not Dan, you're Brandon. Oh, Mike, see where I'm at, Brandon? Brandon, you see this?
We're losing him.
Brandon, I'm gonna let you go because this is your show. I'm ruining your show. I need a lap. That's what I'm doing. I'm gonna take a lap real quick, Brandon.
Take a lap. Take a lap. Hop around for a second. Oh my gosh. But yes, again, so for the Miami Dolphins themselves, funny enough, now going to host the Buffalo Bills later on Sunday. This is going to be a weird moment in Dolphins history where you're not really playing for something. And again, there is a real world where the Dolphins could potentially finish with 7 wins. I mean, I know the Commanders are coming up who are kind of on a hard start as we got the hard.
I'm ready to go. I want in.
Ready to get locked in on the D line. I see it. They're not going to.
They don't. I can hear you. That's great.
No way.
Yeah.
I'm baffled about that. I'm low key.
Well, I have ear holes.
No, I know, but like, how wide is the helmet? How big of a head you need a? You know what I mean?
It's a medium helmet.
All right. Okay.
Look, okay. Brandon, I've taken you off the rails today, and I apologize for it. But I mean, I have a question. Can we talk about Tom Brady's dog? You had that on the calendar.
That was the segment to end the night. And also the last thing I would say about the Dolphins though could finish 7-10. You never know, but either way,
that's worst case scenario.
Best scenario. Either way, let's go into a weird scenario. So imagine, if you will, you have the opportunity to bring back your dead best friend pet. I think it was Junie or Julie or whatever the dog's name for Tom Brady. Apparently, Tom Brady told a magazine recently that his current dog, Jude, is actually a clone of his previous dog that he had early years in New England. And this is actually, funny enough, a business that he invested in that did the cloning for him. So this was more or less something that he invested in, something that he knows about very vividly, obviously, puts his own money into it. So on top of working with the Raiders, playing God basically with their GM and their entire front office stuff, he's also playing God now in his household with his pets. Like, I don't know about you. I feel so weird about this. I don't know where the hell Tom comes from, where it's like, oh, yeah. We cloned the dog. We cloned the dog. What do you mean you cloned the dog?
Tell you a lot.
It's insane. It's insane because he said it so nonchalant to this magazine, which I believe was GQ.
Does he believe in Scientology?
I wouldn't be shocked.
Because that's what it feels like. Because here's the thing. For someone who speaks the way he does, it feels very hypocritical. Because don't get me wrong, right? My first dog, I'd give anything to have my first dog back. I love him to death. He was the best dog ever. But time goes, people you love pass, things you love go away. Like that's what's called growing up and being a person.
Yep.
And I guess for him, he's like, nope, I want it back. Even though I don't know. It's creepy, no?
Insanely creepy. You're not alone. I'm pretty sure half of Americans think the same way. It's real creepy. And again, this is a Tom Brady guy that I think in the past few years has really like been off the rails. Not only from starting off where having his departure from New England coming off of like originally was like a primary health trainer that he wanted around the team that Belichick didn't like, to then divorcing Giselle, which was
for 1 year.
For 1 year, and then now to bringing his dead dog back to life. And that was probably the crazy thing. If this was set on Halloween weekend, I probably would have thought this was a fake story. I probably would have thought it was like some crazy Frankenstein thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But this might beat the Aaron Rodgers stuff. This really might beat the Aaron Rodgers stuff. This is the creepiest thing.
I mean, I don't know. It's hard to beat the ayahuasca trip and playing on Percocets, but
yeah.
And when you're resurrecting a dog, I mean, you might have something in there, Brandon. You might be right.
Yeah, because then again, it is also pretty insane to choose the Jets in the middle of pitch black darkness in a cave for the offseason for Aaron Rodgers. But cloning your dog, I mean,
that's just creepy.
It's just creepy.
It's not okay.
If
anyone watching this wants to clone your dog, don't do it. You're weird.
Don't do it.
Suddenly you're weird. I'm not saying that as like a God-fearing thing, but as in like being a person and just being able to grow. Brandon's 24. I'm 22. We're smart enough to know that like this is what life is. Stuff go by. You appreciate it and you love it, but
yeah,
you don't bring it back to life.
Don't pet cemetery your animals. We saw what happened. Don't pet cemetery your animals.
Movie, damn it.
The original movie. I actually watched the original movie before watching the most recent one.
I need an earpiece in this. I gotta start calling plays.
Yeah, see, besides the head coaching job, you should be the next quarterback. You and Zach Wilson right there under center, man.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I might be a better quarterback than Zach Wilson right now.
Yeah.
I really might be. I could throw a really good spiral.
Yeah. Hell of a pro day, though.
Oh my God, hell of a pro day.
Hell of a pro day.
If we're going off pro day, he might be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, top 10 pro days, right next to Anthony Richardson.
Oh my God. If you want to hear me go on for years, it'd be about Anthony Richardson. I hate that man.
Yeah, as a Gator fan.
That man was a first-round pick, like one of the top 5 pick.
Yeah, my first ever Florida Gator experience as a student at UF was the Utah game that they had with Billy Napier's first game ever for the Florida Gators. That was my Anthony Richardson experience.
Yeah, he was hard to watch. Kyle Pitts really carried him. What happened to Kyle Pitts, by the way? He's actually been pretty decent this year. He's just not getting the touchdowns. He's getting the targets this year, finally.
Yeah, no, he's been good this year. He's been really good. Funny enough, sharing the same tight end room with Felipe Franks, former Florida quarterback. So,
oh my God,
the Florida connection lives on. The Florida connection lives on.
Brandon, you want to hear the worst take ever? Because we're coming to the end of this. Want to hear the worst football take I've ever heard?
Tell me. We'll end it with
this. This is when Jake Fromm was playing for Georgia, right?
Yep.
And I have a very person I know very well, right? That didn't make much sense, but and he looked me dead in my eye, and he goes, "I would take Jake Fromm first overall." And I looked at him, and I said, I'm gonna be real with my pops. I go, "Pops, I'm looking in your eyes right now." And I never say this because I respect my elders and I respect my people. That was the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. And I want you to understand that you should get castrated for thinking that. Because I said this. I said, I'm disappointed I came from your loins. Because that was the worst football take I've ever heard.
I think I'm gonna end up. That is Jake Fromm first overall. Was he undrafted or like 7th round?
No, he won the 7th round.
Dude, I haven't heard Jake Fromm in ages. Like,
that's what I said.
Bro, he was a good quarterback for Georgia. Great hunter, apparently, too. But
Great Hunter, great shot on him.
yeah, great shot on hell. Half of the SEC quarterback rooms are probably Hunters. But besides that, I think we're gonna. I love the fact that we went from Tom Brady's dog to Jake Fromm should have been like an overall 1 pick.
Right?
That was that.
We
That's
went
gotta
from-
be the weirdest part of it.
We went from Quinnen Williams to Chris Greer to Tom Brady to Jake Fromm to my father's loins.
Yeah, and then of course
All in the
hating on
space
Notre
of
Dame.
25 minutes.
All within a space of 25 minutes in the whole hour. But that is going to conclude our hour here on Sideline, though. Crazy episode, wonky episode. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Again, every Tuesday, 8:30, we will be on for Sidelines. Obviously, Miami Dolphins podcast, mainly based in Plug Talk Sports and Plug Talk Sports platforms. Dolphins against the Bills.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting podcast next week. We'll see you guys. You guys have a good night.
I might